Hi everybody, this is Sash with Ideate Software, and I'm going to show you how you can use Ideate Explorer and the power of Ideate Query to identify elements that are contained within certain groups. There may be times that you want to audit your groups and find out what families are part of each one of the groups, and we can actually use Ideate Explorer to help us with this task. I'm just using the out-of-the-box sample Revit file for this particular exercise, and what I'll do here is go to the Ideate Software tab and to Explore. And when I launch Explorer, we're looking at the entire project by category, and we can see all of the categories listed over here that are being used in this project. What I'm going to do here is if I scroll down, you can see the groups over here, and I have 18 elements within these groups. And we can kind of get an element count right here. When I do expand these, I do get some information about some of the bar stools that are in here, right, which are just kind of the instances of these groups, but they're not telling me if there are any other sort of families that are contained within those groups. And that's where Ideate Query can come in handy. Now, since I'm interested in looking at model-based information, I'm going to switch my filter to model. And that'll isolate these categories based on the model. And because this project is small, I'm just going to actually select all of the categories. It's up to you. If there are certain categories that you want to look at, you can certainly isolate those categories down or just select the elements within those categories. It really doesn't matter. Since this project is small, it's a pretty easy selection. Now that I have all the model-based elements selected, I'm going to hit Query. And we can see over here, I have all the categories and the counts for each category here. And then over here, I have a nice listing of parameters to choose from. What this is going to allow me to do is distill this selection down based on certain criteria. I always tell people, take a look at the list of parameters in here. There's some really nice features and nice parameters that you normally don't see within a Revit model, such as the facing and handing. Are these elements pinned? Are they in groups? Those kinds of parameters. That'll really allow you to audit your models and do great quality assurance and quality control to make sure that people are modeling within the realm of your standards. So what I'm going to do here is under the search, I'm just going to type in the word group. And what that's going to allow me to do is look at the model group name and isolate this list by each one of the model groups. And we can see over here those three groups that I showed you earlier also show up over here. But what we're also showing you here are elements or that are not part of any sort of group. And that's what this not applicable means. So now we can really break this list down. But what I'm also going to do here is I'm going to type in the word family, because what I'm interested in doing is finding all of the family instances that are part of these groups or not part of groups at all. So what I'm going to do is, instead of just clicking on the family, I'm allowed to control select up to 3 properties. So I want to keep the group name here, and I'm going to hold down the control key and also select family. And what that's going to do is it's going to break this list up into its individual components. I'm basically going to get a listing of all the families and the counts and whether they're part of a group or not. If I sort this by the group name, we can see that the actual group names come up to the top and the non-applicables are over here. And this is actually what I'm interested in looking at. Now, from a visual standpoint, I can already see that I have a group here called Barstools 1, but I also have some sort of Kohler sinks in here. So I'm a little suspicious about this. So what I may do is either just select this particular one over here and isolate it, or since this is a pretty simple model, I may just select all of these groups again. And when I do that, you can see that now I'm actually getting a listing of all of the elements that are within these groups. So notice it doesn't say group this time, it says furniture and plumbing fixtures and electrical equipment. This is actually what I'm looking for. And what I can do now is I can maybe hit the selection box over here to kind of look at it from a selection box standpoint, or I can even isolate those elements so I can take a look at them from a visual standpoint. Okay, and right here is what I noticed immediately. I could see that each one of these is part of some sort of group and array, and I can see the array number over here. But when I see these sinks over here, I end up being a little bit suspicious, and I can see that somebody accidentally grouped the sinks and the bar stools together. And since that is not supposed to be that way, since I see these are called bar stools 1 and there was an intention to actually array these, I'm going to now edit this group over here and remove the sink from that group. And when I hit finish, now that problem is now resolved. So these are no longer part of the group, and these are back to where they're supposed to be. So this is just one of the examples in which you can use Ideate Explorer and Ideate Query to isolate groups by their individual elements so you can take a look and audit these models. Please let us know if you have any questions, and hopefully this helps you out. Thank you.